Okay, so if you remember at the very start of these videos, we talked a little bit about creating some landscaping. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to go over and choose your landscape layer, and then let's move to the back of the house. And we're going to create some trees. Well, how do you create a tree? Well, you create a tree any way you want to, I suppose. But the way I've done it is to use the ellipse. And remember, what is an ellipse? An ellipse is basically a circle where you can take the quadrant points and stretch one out versus the other. So, for instance, let's see here. If I choose my create an ellipse using a specified starting point. So if I just create an ellipse here, so start, end, and I use the diameter. Of course, you know, this is a little bit large, but we can go back and change it to anything we want afterwards. So let's go ahead and make an ellipse that looks maybe something approximately like that. Make it a bit smaller maybe. All right, something like that. And then go ahead and copy it. Take your copy, rotate it, specify the base point, can be the center. Rotate it by 90 degrees. Take the two ellipses, put them on top of each other. All of a sudden, you've created a tree. Or alternatively, you created an atom, but let's call it a tree. Or maybe a flower. Let's select the two of these together and group them. Let's place one here. And then let's open up our array function. Now, AutoCAD, when you hit the array function, kind of arbitrarily sets up some array parameters. And that's what happened there. So hit the function, a 4-column, 3-row array. You can change this however you want. You can change the spacing between them. I could make them spaced by, let's say, 8 feet in the column space. Leave them at this, increase it a little bit, make it 6 in a row space. Remember, you have to put in that foot symbol, otherwise they'll be inches, and they'll be right of each other. So, why did I do this? Well, I didn't do this to show you that I can make a wonderful tree, because obviously if you take it, you say, well, that really doesn't look like a tree. But the reason I did this is to point this out as a function, because those of you who may be getting into either architectural or civil engineering type work potentially may be in situations where you will have to place bushes, shrubbery, things like that. Function is a wonderful way to do that. If you need to place signposts at various intervals. The array function is a way to do that. Anything or any place where you need to place something at a known interval, you can use an array function. That's the only why I decided to do that. The one thing we should do about this is we should go into our layout and just check to make sure that we don't see those trees in our layout. Because if you see half a tree in your layout, you want to move your trees out of the way so that they don't actually show up. Okay, so that's the only thing I had to say about trees. Now let's go ahead and make a front facade for this house. So let's move over to the right-hand side of this house, and the actual start point does not really matter. Let's talk a little bit about what this house is going to look like from the front. Well, first of all, let's assume we're going to have 2 stories. Let's assume we have either a basement or a crawl space. In any event, regardless, we're going to have some bit of foundation level showing up prior to the floor. The house itself isn't just going to sit on the ground. So I'm going to assume we have, let's say, a 4-foot space. So I've chosen my, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to, if you remember, the front of our house is 30 feet long. So we're going to type at 30 feet, comma, 4 feet. So this will be our essentially basement layer. Now on top of that, we're going to our floor, the rest of our house. What is our house going to be made of? Basically, for each floor, we're going to have roughly 1 foot, so 30 comma. Oh, and I just decided to make it 30 inches, so let's escape out of that. 30 feet, comma, 1 foot. This will essentially be our flooring level. After our flooring level, then we're going to actually have, this will be the top of our floor. So here's where our door level will be. Now, we need to actually have a door. And you're going to actually have to go find the door file. Now, I have put up into the file space in Canvas the door file. And there are actually 2 files that you want to download. I'm going to just bring this other Chrome window over. And if I look into, I guess I can go right into Canvas. I'll open up Canvas and then open up the file section. The 2 files you want to download. It looks like they're not here. I will put the 2 files up. Those 2 files are, however, this file here, 2961741344.dwg. Well, what is this? This is a GenWeld file. GenWeld is a door and window manufacturer. In this case, this is a file of doors. It's a catalog of GenWeld doors. And the second file is this file here. AC-E series elevations, etc. DHG-SHG-DXF.zip. This is actually a zip file, and this is a DXF file. If you remember, we talked about DXF files. DXF files are generic CAD files that can be read by virtually any. What is this file specifically? This is a file specifically of Anderson windows. These Anderson window files we're going to use on the front facade of the house. So you want to download these two files. By the time you see the video, these files will be up in Canvas, so you don't have to worry about them not being in Canvas. Download these two files. Open up the DWG drawing. Within this this zip file, expand the zip file, and the zip file itself actually has 4 different DXF files. The DXF file you want to open is actually this one. It's AC-E series elevation something something. Oh, here it is. Right up here, so you can see it. E series elevation cottage reverse cottage.dxf. And we're going to be using the very first set of windows shown on that drawing. So you can go ahead and stop the video as you go ahead and as you download those and get those ready. And then when you're all set, back to the video, we'll go back to the drawing and we'll start working on continuing this front facade of the house. Okay, so once we have this floor, we're going to have what will essentially be our living space. And our living space, for practice, we're going to call it 8. We're going to say that it's going to be 8 feet. And we need to start directly at the junction point. And we're going to make another block then that will be at 30 feet, comma, 8 feet, this will be the top of our ceiling, and then we're just going to repeat this. So we're actually going to take these 2 layers, we can copy them. Let's copy them from this reference point, and then we're going to copy them to here. So this is essentially what the front of the house will look like. So what I want you to do is to go into then the GenWeld file. So that's 96174. You only need to look at the very first the very first drawing itself. Once you explode it up, it shows various and we want a door which we can use. And it needs to be 3 feet wide. All we have to do is look at a door. I want to something starts coming in end. But I'm going to look around at a door. Let's see. Should be a 3-4. E. Yeah. We'll choose this door. So what we want to do then is just copy the door. Copy the dimensions for. So as you copy the door, be careful that you only copy the door itself. If you see that I only have the door selected, I'm going to choose copy selection, and then I'm going to move back to my drawing. Now once I'm in my drawing, I'm going to type Control V. And we're left over with the architectural drawing. Now, AutoCAD can be quite funny for copying and pasting. Control C. So what happened there is Control C. Well, let's talk about this first. Before I'm just gonna paste this over here and just leave it right there for now. But I want to talk about what happened there. Normally, you would think that you come over here, once you select this, you can do copy selection. And then you can go back to your other drawing and paste. AutoCAD doesn't let you do that. What AutoCAD allows you to do is once you're here, once you have this selected, you can type Control C to copy it. And it'll actually copy into the clipboard. You can also do this, clipboard copy. Which is, and again, this is different from copy selection. So then once you come back to drawing, you can then type Control V or clipboard paste. Now right now I wanted to paste this over here, and the reason I want to paste it here is because if you notice, you may or may not have noticed, but this is actually a bunch of different pieces. So before I paste it or do anything else to it, I want to turn this into a group. So I'm going to turn this into a group now, and now it's a single drawer or single door that I can easily move around. And I'm going to check the width of this, and we see that it is 3 feet wide. So it does have the correct width. So what we can do now is we can go ahead and look at our drawing, and we see that that door is located 11 feet 6 inches from grab the door, move it here. The door is located 11 feet 6 inches from this corner. Now, the only move bar we have, I believe. Nope, we can actually select the lower. That's great. So what we can do is we can actually take the door, select it, choose move, place it in the corner, and I'm not sure why it didn't place in the corner there. Let's try that again. Select. Okay, there we go. So now it's placed in the corner, and move it over 11 feet 6 inches. And there's our door located in its proper location. Now for windows, we're not going to get too fancy with windows. And as I said, we're going to start with the very top row of windows here. And we can see we have rough opening and unit dimensions. Now, we use both. I guess on the front, we only have 5-foot windows. Now, as we look at the shown here, the windows only go up to 3 feet. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 2.5-foot windows, and we're going to put them together side by side. And believe it or not, that's actually common practice, that you actually buy 2 windows of half the size and put them together, and then put them into a space that's an opening that's twice as large. So we're going to take, let's take the second one down, this DHC 2646. We're going to move down here. We're going to select this window. And again, remember, you can do clipboard copy, or you can just do a Control-C. I'm going to go over to the drawing, and I'm not going to place on the facade yet. I'm just going to type Control-V over here and place. Type another Control-V, place another one, and then I'm going to place these 2 abutting right up against each other. Once I do that, I'm going to select them. I'm going to choose Group. And I'm going to select them again. Copy. Copy. So now I have 2 5-foot windows. So let's go ahead and place our windows. So we have one window located 7 feet. The center is located 7 feet 5 inches from this lower corner here. We can actually try to eyeball. However, we're far better off to select the window as we did before. Move. Select the corner. Place the corner right there. Then we should confirm the distance, which is 2 feet 6. I've been making videos for too long today. I apologize. So if we need to go 7 feet 5, but we need to move this point to 7 feet 5 from here, we need to go an additional 2 feet 6. So that will be 9 feet 11. So we're going to choose this. Select. Choose the corner. Make sure we're moving vertical. And then type 9 feet 11 inches. Enter. Now, what we've done there is we've moved the window. However, we've just placed the window on the floor. So that's not necessarily the best place for a window. So what we need to do then is to select the window, move it up vertically, and let's move it up by 2 feet. So the window is 2 feet off the floor, and you can see the window is roughly, it's higher than centered, but it's 2 feet off the floor, which is a decent distance. If we wanted to, we could move that down 6 inches, which would roughly center it in our wall space. So move it down by 6. Now it's centered in our wall space. And the top of the window roughly lines up with the top of the door. Do this one. This one just roughly over here. Now this one will be 5.9 inches. And actually, I wonder if we can, when we do our move, yeah, we can't choose the actual center point. So now we can place it here. And do another move. Doesn't really matter what point we select here as the base point. But all we need to do is make sure we move it 5 feet 9 inches, like so. And we could have moved it up to 18 inches at the same time. Make sure we have that tracking line. Type 6. I was supposed to go 18, I went 6. Go another 12. And there we have the 2 windows. Now remember, we have this wall that's located at 14 feet 9 inches, or I shouldn't say a wall, a change in the surface, because the house farther this half, this half. So we actually have a wall line that's going to exist 14 feet 9 inches over, and this will I'm not seeing. Oh, there's my. No, I have a tracking line from there, but I'm not seeing a vertical line. Turn ortho mode on. That does it. So from here, 14 feet 9 inches. From here, 14 feet, 9 inches, enter. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to pull this line back to the intersection. So that's what the first floor will look like. Now the second floor, we don't know what the second floor is going to look like. But we can just decide and put windows ourselves. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to that same window, the 2646 here. Clipboard, copy. Back to our drawing. Clipboard, paste one here, group it, move, I'm going to turn that ortho mode off. Okay, so right now I have my window here. Now I probably want to move this window 18 inches up. And I certainly don't want it against the wall. So let's move it over by something. Let's move it over by, I don't know, let's take a guess, 2 feet. And then let's go to our array function. Well, we don't want to do that. But we don't mind 4 columns. How about only 1 row? And then the distance between I don't understand that distance, but 7'6". Or, oh, it's a total. Oh, distance between is 3.9 with the total distance 11.3. So we know that our whole front here is 40 feet. And I put 2 inches here and 2 inches there. Or sorry, 2 feet on either side. So that takes us to 36. The window itself is 2.5, so 35, 34. So I think if I choose something like about 8.5 feet for the distance between, 8 feet, 6 inches. Okay, so that takes us to the end. So that's a little bit too far. So how about if we just go to 8? That's pretty good. Uniform the windows on the second floor. Design for our house. So there we have our front facade. Now we can go ahead and go to our layout, our second layout page. Oh, so first, in order to do that, we have to close our array here, so that'll finish the array. So we're now finished. We can go to our second layout page. We need to add a viewport, so we can type view. Let's do this in the viewport layer. So view, viewport, new viewport, single. Put this in like so. And here it actually puts the whole drawing in. Now, of course, we don't want the whole drawing. We only want this this front facade. Or maybe we do want the whole drawing here. So we could leave it as is and we'd have the whole drawing. So now we have the landscaping, the front facade, as well as the drawing itself. And I'm going to say let's leave it at that. However, what we need to do though is we need to check and set a scale, because you should never leave a scale as an arbitrary number. So we should go to view. Actually, first click on the viewport, view properties, and this scale should be something like, oh, I don't know, 1/4 inch per foot. Yeah, so at 1/4 inch per foot, that's what our scale is going to look like. So now we can just simply come over to our title area, set up our title layer. Go back to home, choose text, firm name, it. Project name, homework 10, complete. Complete drawing. Project homework 10. Date 5/5/20. Here our scale, 1 inch here equals 4 feet, or 1/4 inch equals 1 foot. So actually, we should put it in as a 1/4 inch equals 1 foot. And if necessary, you might need to come back and turn off object snap in order to move things around a little easier. It'll prevent your text from trying to snap to some known point or some reference point. And then finally for sheet, 2 of 2. Probably could have made that box bigger. I don't particularly like the way that looks. That looks much better. Okay, so there you have it. Now, if you needed to, you could expand this and zoom this and move this within the viewport to show only a certain drawing. And I'm going to show you, you don't have to actually do this, but I'm going to show you what you would need to do if you wanted to add, let's say, a third viewport that, let's say, only showed the front facade. So we'll go to layout 3, and we're going to do the page setup manager, modify. As I said here, we can do Adobe, ArchD, OK, close. I'm going to kill this viewport. I'm going to go to architectural title block, Control A, Control C. So that's select all, copy all, my drawing, Control V. Just paste. I have to check this to make sure I selected the right size because that looks very big. No, and I chose the wrong size. Let's go back and modify. I chose E instead of D. Okay, so there we go. So now you see we're in the right size. So now I'm going to add the viewport. View viewports. New viewport. Single. Okay. Put the viewport in like so. Okay, so now we've added the viewport, and we see we have all these drawings, but let's say I only want to see the front facade. So what we would do is we come over here, we click in the viewport, so we actually get within the viewport, and then we center this, and then we can come back here, click on our viewport again, choose view our properties, and I'm not sure we're actually on the viewport itself. I don't think we are. We need to come out of the viewport, click on the edge of the viewport again. Now we can choose our scale. So here our scale, we can then get the right scale that we want. We may be able to. So we can almost use the 1 inch equals 1 foot. 3/4 inch equals 1 foot will actually work. Or we could use 1/2 inch equals 1 foot. To be honest with you, I'm not sure how common 3/4 inch equals 1 foot is. So I would leave this as 1/2 equals 1 foot. And there you have it. That would give you a viewport with only the front facade. And then you could go through and enter the title block. As I said, though, you don't have to do this. Okay, so now I'm going to end this. But before I do, I would like to thank you guys for your patience in this class. I know this is not what you signed up for. It's not what I signed up for either. And this has been a little bit trying, I'm sure, for everybody here. But I'm glad that you stuck with it for those of you who did make it through this class. And I do want to let you know you've learned probably about 95% of what you would have learned anyway. What you probably missed out on would be the little, some of the little tips and tricks, and more related to not so much AutoCAD, but related to both the mechanical engineering field, the AutoCAD, well, not so much AutoCAD field, the architectural field, and engineering in general that I would have talked about more while lecturing that I don't really have a chance to do as I'm sitting here in front of a computer screen. In any event, I wish you the best of luck, and I hope to see you again. Feel free, if anyone has any questions anytime about anything, to send me an email or contact me. I'd be happy to talk to you. Again, thank you very much.